also called man, also called mancomunada. Also called mancomunada. Mancomunada. Hindi katulad nitong solidarity. Sinabi mong solidary obligation, keyword, entire obligation. Pwede rin, mas ginagamit ito na word, joint and several. Magka-joint and several obligation. Or solidarity. One for all for one. Yan. These are mga key terms yan. The moment nakita nyo sa isang exam, yan ang tinutukoy. Four rules. Rule number 1. First rule about joint and solidarity. Ito ang rule. Yan class. Solidarity is not presumed. Yan, halimbawa, may 2 or more persons or 2 or more debtors. It is not presumed. So, ang presume ay joint. Joint obligation ang presume. There is only solidarity when law provides or the parties stipulated it. Those are law provides, example, doon class conspiracy to commit a crime. Act of one is act of one. Kita mo yan na solidarity. Act of one, yan is act of all. Yan ang matinding class. Act of one. Act of all. Halimbawa, class. In case of sa crime, kahit na si inatid ni Gloria, halimbawa si Gloria at saka si Valladolid ay terminators. They are assassins. So, in-assassinate ngayon ni Gloria ang isang drug lord. Wow. Kaso lang, may nadamay na isang innocent civilian. Pero class, bago makarating doon, kailangan sumakay pa sila ng speedboat. Kasi nasa remote place, sa island yung lugar. So, ang nag-drive ng speedboat ay si Valladolid. Although, ang nag-execute, gumamit ng sniper ay si Gloria. Gloria the sniper. Take note class, napatay ni Gloria yung dalawa. Murder. Kasi napatunayan. Kasi hindi naman sila police officer. Hindi naman sila police. Galit lang si Gloria sa drug lord dahil hindi binigay yung kanyang share. Pero napatunayan na si Valladolid ang nag-drive ng class. Ng speedboat. Na kung hindi dahil doon sa speedboat hindi sila makakarating doon sa island. Ano si Valladolid? Valladolid class is a principal by indispensable cooperation. He is still a principal in the crime. Although the direct act was committed by Gloria, still they conspired to commit a crime. And that's all. Take note, nag-drive lang si Valladolid. Pero kung ang gulong ni Gloria ay 20 years, ganun din si Valladolid. 20 years din in prison. 1. Signals. And that's why solidarity is not presumed because it's too burdensome. Or when the parties stipulated. Remember, A, creditor. Pero, sa isang utang na yun na 1 million, si X, Y, and Z ang utang. Silent yung class. Ibig sabihin, joint obligation. Divided by 3 sila. One-third, one-third, one-third sila ang payment nila. Pero kung ang ginamit nila na obligation is, I will pay. Si class, ha? I will pay ang ginamit. Tapos tatlo ang nakapirma. Sabi ng batas, solidarya. Pero kung ang ginamit na word ay we, he will pay. Joint yan. Pag ginamit na we, ginamit na word ay we, that is one. Pero ang ginamit na word ay I, that is solidarity. See? Never for sure. Oh, silent ang problem. A, 1 million. Ito, XYZ. Silent ang problem. Kung joint or solidarity. Joint yan. Because solidarity is the Nililize na isa. Sige, may copy pa ako. Wala ako. Bawat class. Sabihan natin. A, B, C, and D. The creditors. So, X, W, X, Y, and Z as debtors. Magkano ang masisingil ni A kay W? Answer. Tinanong ko sa isa, how much can A collect from W? Magkano? A to W if the problem is silent. Answer. 1 million. 1 million divided by 4 divided by 4. See, so 1 million divided by 4 is 200, 250,000. Million, mas madali. Example for 2 million. So 2 million divided by 4 is 500,000. Then yung 500,000, i-divide mo only by 4. And you will get 125,000. Ibig sabihin, each debtor, yan ang pwedeng singilin ng each credit. See? So, paano yan? Kasi ibig sabihin niya, klase A maniningil ng 125 kay W, kay X, kay Y, at kay Z. At nakompleto niya ang 500,000. Ganon din ang gagawin ni B, ganon din ang gagawin ni C, ganon din ang gagawin ni D. Kasi nga, proportionate, prorata. Hindi class mo pwedeng si A and B mag-usap. O, A and B, kayo kay WX. Kami naman C and B, kay Y and Z. Hindi na join yan because you are now talking of two independent obligations. In joint obligation, two or more creditors, two or more debtors in one obligation. See? Kaya nga prorata. Pag tinanong naman, how much can A and B collect? A to W run. How much can A collect to W from W if ang ginamit na word na solidarity? Yun ang answer. 1 million. See? One for all for one. Yan ang masisingil ng bawat debtor sa bawat creditor. Masisingil ng bawat creditor sa bawat. Yan. We erase this one. That's kasi pag silent naman, ibig sabihin ng solidarity mixed. Sinabing mixed solidarity, the debtors are solidary and the creditors are likewise solid. Parehong solid. Number 3. Now, what if ang debtors lang ang solidary and the creditors are silent? Silent. Oh, pag silent yan, ibig sabihin joint because solidarity is never presumed. Oh, ibig sabihin dito ka lang magdi-divide. You divide here only. Hindi ka magdi-divide dyan. Kasi dyan, dahil solidary yan, entire obligation yan. Ano ang tawag dyan? Ang tawag dyan class ay passive solidarity. So, passive solidarity, how much can A collect from W? Kung si A class, right, so divide here. Dahil solidary sila, entire obligation, kahit sino sa kanila pwedeng singilin. Ang yan, di ba? Identify ko. And your answer is 500 down. Yan ang masisingil ng bawat creditor. If the question is, how much can A collect from W? If it is joint, 125. How much can A collect from W? If solidary, 1 million. How much can A collect from W? If passive solidarity, 500 down. Okay? Pero pag tinanong in a passive solidarity, ano ang maximum na pwedeng singilin kay W? Answer, 2 million. See? Pwedeng masingil ni A, 500. Pero pwedeng singilin kay W, 2 million. Si solidarity siya. Ibig sabihin, sila mga creditors, dapat sabay-sabay sila. Gusto nilang maningil ng 2 million. Ang not necessarily sabay-sabay. Basta, each of them, maximum lang na 500. Pero pwede silang maningil ng 2 million kay W. Paano naman kung baliktad, sir? Balik na rin na. Tapos balik na natin. Ang debtors naman ang joint. Ang creditors ay solidary. Joint or silent. Dito ka naman mag-divide. You divide here this time. How much can A collect from W? Okay. So, si A, million. Entitled siya. Pero si W, mag-divide siya. 2 million divided by 4. Answer, 500,000. So, pareho lang. Hindi pareho plus. Kasi kanina, ang maximum na pwedeng singilin kay W ay 2 million. Pero this time, ang maximum na pwedeng singilin kay W ay 500 lang. Kanina si A, kasi baliktad, kanina si A, maximum niya na pwedeng makulit 500. This time, ang pwedeng makulit ni A ay 2 million. At siya ay solidary. Pag sinabi mong solidary, entire obligation. Kung pareho lang sila, dahil parehong apat na debt o apat na creditors, they're only similar. In a passive solidarity, any of the debtors can be compelled to pay the entire obligation, but not any of the creditors can collect the whole. In a, ito naman, ang tawag naman dito ay, ito this. Ang kanang tinatawag natin solidarity. Ano ang take solidarity? Solidarity is only on the side of the creditors. So each creditor can collect the whole amount, but not each debtor can be collected or can be compelled to pay the whole amount. Okay? Karan, ng number 3 yung number 4. Okay, sa mga example nyo na nakikita sa mga reviewers, once at wala kang binibigay na sample. This is good. Ano nga pa yung mga authors are yung author na rfbt na civic lawyer, mali 1 and 2 lang ang gagawin yung example. Okay. Actually, this is only the first rule class. Ito yung first rule that solidarity is not presumed. Okay. A minute for you to organize your notes. Then we go to the second rule. This is one of the most favorite class. So ito sa pinaka-favorite na rule number 2. I will erase the class. Let's go to the second rule. Second rule. When a solidarity debtor pays any of the solidarity creditor, pagdating sa solidarity, what are the effects? Una, the entire solidarity obligation is young class extinguished. Then, a new obligation arises. And what is that? Joint obligation to reimburse. To reimburse him. Yan. See? Yan si solidarity. I-reimburse siya. Joint obligation among the other. So mawawala na yung solidarity nature. Katulad niyan. A, di ba? A, B, C, D. Sila yung creditors. Ang debtors ay C, W, X, Y, and Z. Sila yung debtors. So yung creditor. Okay versus. Bayad si W kay A. Binayaran ni W si A. Ayan, paid. Siyempre class. Ibig sabihin yan, the whole amount. Pag binayaran ni WCA, effect, the entire obligation is terminated. Hindi na siya solidary. Now, ito sila, kailangan nila i-reimburse si W sa share nila. Kung silent ang problem, equal sharing sila. Ibig sabihin, 500,000 each if silent ang problem sa sharing ng mga debtors. Unless nagbigay ng data, additional information ng problem. Halimbawa, ang sabi ng problem ay 3:3:2:2 or 2 or 1:1:4:4. See? In this case, equal. So, pero joint na lang. Joint obligation. Ibig sabihin, X to pay W 500, ganun din si Y, ganun din si Z. Dahil yun ang share nila. Now, okay. If Y becomes insolvent, kaya, see kanina class, kung solidary pa yon, pag naging insolvency PCB, ang utang niya ay 1 million pa rin. You see? Samantalang this time, dahil joint na yan, if X and Y became insolvent, isa na lang muna, grabe naman kung halimbawa, si Z ay insolvent. Ang mangyayari, yung kanyang 500,000 will be shared by W, X, Y, and Z. Magsishare sila. Hindi naman magsishare na mandatory. Hindi mandatory, pero pwede nilang pag-usapan na, dahil insolvency Z, pwedeng sabihin ni W, sige, ako nang bahala, ako na lang maniningil. Kayo X and Y, huwag nyo nang pakialaman si Z. 500 pa rin babayaran nyo, maniningil na lang ako sa kanyang estate. Pero kung silent ang problem, yung 500,000, ipoprorata share pa rin ni WXYZ. Ibig sabihin si X, magbabayad ng 500 plus 1/3 of 500. Y will pay his 500 plus 1/3 of the share of Z. Yan ang mangyayari. Hindi katulad ng solidary. Kung solidary yan, it doesn't really matter. If Z becomes insolvent, it's still 2 million. Any of them can be required to pay. Kaya katulad kanina pala, kasi creditors pala ito. Yan, kung dito pala, pag naging insolvent, any of them, X, Y, Z, the obligation remains at 1 million. Hindi katulad dito. See? So the entire solidary obligation is terminated or extinguished, but a new obligation arises among the fellow debtors. Joint obligation to reimburse him for their share. Number 3, no obligation to reimburse him before his payment, referring to W. Obligation was already legally extinguished. Example, the obligation was already prescribed, or obligation was declared illegal in the court or by law. Si W, nung pala nagbayad si W kay A, describe na yung utang. May nasisingil pa siya kay X, Y, Z. Hindi masisingil. Mangyayari, dapat pumunta si W kay A. Principle of solution in validity. It was a payment by mistake. Okay? Nung magbayad si W kay A, na-declare na pala na illegal yung obligation. Nakapagbayad na siya. Solution in validity yun. Payment by mistake. W can get from A what he paid. Yung ibig sabihin ng is no obligation ko. Kaya walang obligation si X, Y, Z na reimburse si W. No obligation to reimburse him. Referring to W na paying solidary debtor. Before his payment, it was already legally extinguished or terminated. Third rule. Third, very important rule. Among them, among the solidary creditors, third rule. A solidary creditor can perform acts which are beneficial to them or prejudicial to them. If he performs an act beneficial to them, kanilang lahat, then dito means sa kanila A, B, C, D. Oh, no consent. No consent needed sa other creditors niya. Pero kung prejudicial to them, consent is needed. Prejudicial, example, condonation. Kinundo niya yung utang. Beneficial, he collected. See? So let's have an example. Kung pumulit siya, no consent needed. Kasi ibibigay lang naman niya yung share nila sa kanya. O, pero pa rin, ha? Creditors. A, B, C, D. Then debtors. W, X, Y, Z. O, ang beneficial nito, nangolekta si A kay W. Pag nangolekta si A kay W, ibibigay niya kay B, C, and D yung kanilang share. Eh, paano ko? A, controlled the obligation. Pinatawad ni A yung obligation ni W. Kung joint yan, walang problema. Kay W lang ang mapapatawad. Eh, solidary. Pagka solidary ang class, the entire obligation is terminated. Yes, ha? Kung condoned by A, wala na, automatic wala nang obligation. Pero class, ano magiging effect nun? Kung kinondo ni A yung utang ni W, si XYZ cannot be compelled by W to reimburse or pay any amount. Sir, bakit? Because condonation made by A to W is really a condonation to all of them. Kasi yan ang solidary. Ako buwan. So, A, W cannot be, X, Y, Z cannot be compelled by W to reimburse or pay any amount to me. Wala silang obligation. Ngayon, si A naman, dahil A, if A condoned without consent of fellow creditors, yan, A is liable to them or her share. Si class, dahil ang utang ay 2 million at silent yan, ibig sabihin, 500,000 each sila. Kailangan bayaran ni A silang tatlo sa kanilang share. See? Dahil hindi siya nagpaalam. He condoned without consent of the fellow creditor. Pero kung kinondon niya na nagpaalam siya sa kanila, wala siyang obligation sa kanila. Sabihin ni B, hey, basta-basta mo na lang pinatawad yung utang. Hindi ka man lang nagsabi sa akin, yung share ko dyan na 500,000 kailangan ko eh. Kita mo naman, hirap na ako sa buhay. Wala kang problema, marami kang pera. Pero hindi namin yung share namin. You see? Sana nagpaalam ka. Hindi ka nagpaalam, bayaran mo yung share ko. Okay? You can compel A. Kung si B at saka si C, pumayag. Sige. Kahit hindi ka nagpaalam, sige, approve na namin yun. Para ni-ratify nila. Eh kung ayaw ni C, D, ayaw niya. Eh hindi pwedeng isama ni B and C yung share ni B. Sabihin ni B, kung si B and C, A, pumayag. Hindi ako papayag. Bayaran mo yung share ko. See? Yan, class, ang ibig sabihin na. A solitary debtor can perform acts which are beneficial to them, and no consent is needed from other fellow creditors. But if it is beneficial to them, kailangan magpaalam siya. See? It's a logic, common sense, as well as fairness. Tunay sa tunay na buhay, ganun din ang talagang nangyayari kasi. Ito, sige, talagang, di ba, meron kayong magkakaklase kayong apat. Meron din kayong kaklase apat ng pinag-pinag-pinag. Ikaw, sige, bigla mong pinataman yung ano isang mong kaklase, pero sulitan eh. May damay na ka. Eh, kung ayun mo kasama na hindi ka nagpaalam, eh, yun ang problem din. Hindi na makuhain na nila. Okay, class? Next obligation. Okay, dito tayo sa divisible obligation at saka in the visible obligation. Oh. Pag sinabi mong ang nababasa nyo lagi, what we written in the books, laging when you say divisible, it can be divided. Indivisible, it cannot be divided. Ganun lang. But actually, class, the truth is, pag sinabi mong divisible obligation, the obligation can be performed pwedeng pwedeng partial or incomplete. Wag lang poor. Hindi pwede ang poor. Partial or incomplete pwede. Example, 1 million. Pera, hindi divisible. Payable in 10 equal 10 monthly installment. 10 monthly installment. Equal payment yan. Every end of the month. That is divisible. Indivisible? No. Partial or incomplete performance. But actually, class, this is the rule. And this is more of an exception to the rule. Kasi yan, if stipulated. Meaning, class, if no stipulation for partial performance or divisible, all obligations are indivisible. See? If no stipulation. Katulad yan, yung 1 million na yan. Payable. December 25, 2023. Understood yan na no partial performance is allowed. Dahil hindi pinag-usapan. Ibig sabihin, pagdating ng 1 million, A, kung si A yung creditor, at si W yung debtor, winala natin A and B. Pagdating ng December 25, sisingilin ni ACB ng 1 million. Pwede bang magbayad si can they pay half, or 1/3, or 1/4? The answer is no, because there was no stipulation. Ang tinatawag na all obligations, if no stipulation for partial performance, ay indivisible. Tawag dyan lang. Divisibility of performance rule or doctrine. Okay? So when we speak of divisibility or indivisibility, we are not really referring to the nature of the obligation. Tingnan yung class, pera yan. Divisible by nature. But you see, ito, wala silang usapan. The obligation is indivisible. Pagdating ng December 25, due date, bayad ka buong amount. Pero kung nag-usap kayo, yung 1 million na yan ay payable 10 monthly installment. Pagdating starting December 25, December 25, mapapayaran lang ni kay ay hindi 1 million, kundi divided by 10, which is only 100,000. So, and when law says, or when law speaks of divisibility or indivisibility, the law does not talk about nature. Okay. So whether it is divisible or indivisible will depend on the agreement of the parties. Because if problem is silent, automatic siya indivisible. No partial or incomplete performance. Okay, class, Now, we have confused naman indivisibility from solidarity. Okay, class, Hindi porke ang obligation is indivisible. Indivisibility is different from solidarity. See? Because indivisibility is about the object or performance. This one is about the subject, debtor or creditor. See? And the vinculum juris, what you call the juridical or legal type. Kaya nga sabi ng law, indivisibility does not give rise to solidarity. Hindi porke indivisible ang obligation, automatic solidarity yan. Or vice versa. Na hindi porke naman solidarity, automatic hindi no. Okay, mas yun. Kaya nga, example, meron tayong tinatawag na joint. See? Meron tayong tinatawag na joint indivisible obligation. GANP. May utang kay W na mag-deliver ng box. Box na gagamitin sa race contest. Joint indivisible. Kahit hindi pwedeng sabihin ni AB. Total naman sa kabayo, ang karera sa kabayo na yung ulo. So, iuna mo muna yung ulo, ihuli ko na lang yung kalahati ng katawan niya. I-deliver mo na ngayon yung ulo, bukas ko na lang ihahabol yung ulo. Ano yan? Manananggal na kabayo. Yun ang example ng joint indivisible obligation. Pwede, pero si silent. Unless sinabing solidary obligation. Kasi di ba remember, balik tayo lahat. Sa niya, solidarity is not ratio. Pag 2 or more debtors, hindi naman automatic na solidarity. Automatic na ito. Pag sinabing, ginamit ni A and B, I will deliver. Di solidarity sila. Ibig sabihin, kahit sino sa kanila pwedeng singilin ni W. Okay, so, indivisible, as solidarity ka agad. Advice. Okay. Next. Alternative and facultative obligation. Hindi na masyadong tinatanong sa exam yan, pero kailangan alam nyo pa rin. Ano ang pagkakaiba ng alternative obligation versus facultative obligation? In alternative obligation, two or more objects are due. But one of them lang ang kailangan mong i-perform. Characterized by the word or. A, to deliver to B. So, debtor is horse or is cow. Ginamit ang word. Horse, my cow, or my caravan. My See? All are due, pero isa lang ang kailangan niyang gawin. Yan, or more. So then, all are due. One of them lang ang kailangan i-perform. See? Sa facultative class, only one is due. Huh? My substitute. Okay, my horse. My horse. Oh, ay, alternative na rin yan kasi wala yung word. Pero lalagyan niya ng as substitute. Ibig sabihin, maliwanag na yan lang ang principal. Yan lang ang principal obligation. Yung husky is just a substitute. That's why dito naman. Dito. The choice. Pwedeng kay debtor or pwedeng kay creditor. Pero if silent ang problem, understood the debtor's choice. See? Hindi ka tulad dito. It is always debtor. Yung okay? Dating sa substitute, pwede niyang, pwede magsabi. Hindi pwede magsabi si creditor, o yung substitute na lang. Siya pwede magsabi na, o sige, yung substitute na lang. Instead na yung horse, yun na lang, husky. See? It's always debtor's choice. Kung yung substitute ang ibibigay, or yung horse ang ibibigay. Hindi katulad doon sa alternative obligation. Alternative obligation, kaya dito, if debtor makes a choice, so dito, if debtor communicates his choice to the creditor, ibig sabihin yung substitute, my dog. My dog, ha? Oh, my dog na. The principal obligation is already extinguished or terminated. Anong principal obligation? Yung horse. Wala na. So kahit na mawala yung horse na yan, the moment na i-communicate ni debtor yung choice niya, wala na effect. Tignas? Kaya ang rule dito sa facultative, ito. Okay, open niyo muna. Always debtor's choice. If debtor communicates his choice to the creditor, substitute, my dog, the principal obligation is terminated. So whether the horse is lost with or without fault, walang damages. Kaya, erase dito. Number 1. Before substitution, horse lost due to fortuitous event, obligation is extinguished. With debtor's fault, he is liable for damages. See? Pero, if the substitute is lost, no effect. Principal obligation remains. See? Pero, after substitution, okay, the horse is lost. Ito naman ngayon ang no effect. A new obligation. But if the dog is lost, dito ka naman magtatanong na due to fortuitous event or with debtor's fault. Due to fortuitous event, obligation is extinguished. Ako with debtor's fault, liable si debtor ng damages. See? substitution. The substitution is always debtor's choice lang. Anytime pwede siya magsabi. Hindi pwede magsabi si creditor, oh, yung kabayo, ayaw ko na, yung dog na lang. No. In facultative obligation, it is always debtor's choice to the law. Unlike in alternative, it will depend on the stipulation of the parties. Pero, plus, pagka-silent ang problem, alternative obligation, debtor's choice. Objects are due. My horse, my cow, my carabao, my husky. Ngayon, pag nawala isa dyan, before choice is communicated, pwedeng mag-charge ng damages si creditor sa alternative obligation. Ito mo lang facultative obligation. If all are lost, itanong mo, without debtor's fault, with debtor's fault. Kung without debtor's fault, obligation is extinguished. Pero kung with debtor's fault, debtor is liable for the although may option si creditor. Ano yung damages loss? Depende. Kung debtor's choice, ang damages niya will be the value of last object plus damages. Pero kung yan ay creditor's choice, value of any object ang mamimili si creditor. You see the difference? Yung isa last object, ito any object plus damages. Kita niyo yung difference plus? Pang-top notcher yan. If all are lost with debtor's fault, kasi kung without debtor's fault, obligation is extinguished. E kung with debtor's fault, yung last object, yung husky plus damages. Pero kung creditor's choice, mamimili si creditor kung kahit saan dyan. Kahit saan dyan, plus yung cash value, plus damage. Eh sir, pag isa ang nawala. Pag isa ang nawala, depende sa agreement nila. Pag isa ang nawala, at meron pang remaining, pwede pa nila pag-usapan yung remaining. So you see? Normally, yung mga tanong sa exam, ito on our notes. Pero pwede pa rin natin i-discuss if one is lost. At least alam nyo. Oh. Example. So, ito alternative. One is lost. Example, horse ang nawala. Itatanong mo, without debtor's fault. Kung without debtor's fault, creditor will choose among the remaining one. Creditor will choose among the remaining ones kung creditor's choice. Pero if debtor's choice, without debtor's fault, creditor will choose among the remaining ones kung creditor's choice. Now, if debtor's choice naman, debtor will choose among the remaining ones. See? Yan yung kung without debtor's fault. Pero kung with debtor's fault. So, katulad niya, kung nawala yung horse, mamimili si creditor. Kung creditor siya, sabi niya, sige, carabao na lang. Or husky na lang. Pero kung debtor's choice naman, baka na naman si debtor. Sige, sasabihin ni debtor, any of them na lang. Carabao, Husky. Paano kung with debtor's fault? Kung with debtor's fault, letter A, kung creditor's choice. At ako na yung course, cash value. Mamimili siya mamimili siya between cash value of horse, loss, plus damages, or any of the remaining ones as damages. Okay? Cash value nung nawala na kabayo, or sasabihin ni creditor, tao na lang Carabao or Husky, pero plus damages. Kasi with debtor's fault. Pero kung debtor's choice yan, walang damages. Just choose among the remaining ones. Be careful. Diyan kayo magtatanong. Sir, may fault siya pero walang damages? Yes, class. Bakit? Meron namang remaining ones eh. So, choice ko. Hindi ko naman choice ang kabayo para sa'yo eh. Ang choice ko ay yung kalabaw. Dahil mukha kang kalabaw. Kaya, class ha. Basta debtor's choice. Ibig sabihin, conclusion. Kung alternative obligation at debtor's choice, wala kang problema hanggat may isa pang natitira. Hanggat hindi mo na i-communicate ang choice, ha? Kasi class, pag na-communicate mo na yung choice, kasi alternative. Because an alternative obligation is a complex obligation until it is choice is made. In the moment choice is made, hindi na sa complex. Di ba? Sinabi ni AKB, hindi yung Husky na. Yung Husky na i-deliver ko sa'yo, it's alternative obligation. It's not to be alternative, simple obligation. Hindi natin, paano yung dinidiscuss nyo? Itong mga dinidiscuss natin, class, yan yung, yung rule, pag hindi pa na-communicate ang choice. At nawala na lahat, nawala na isa. Yan, i-discuss natin ay kung suppose choice is not yet communicated. Pero nawala. I will give you my cell phone Samsung or my cell phone iPhone. Alternative yun. Sinabi mo may cell phone iPhone na substitute. Okay. For one, although lately hindi masyado nagtatanong sa board exam dito. Nagtanong dito, yan ang simpleng rule. That's alternative to follow, and it is a choice of better of creditor or silent better. Sa kapatitig naman, it's only one, pero mayroong substitute. Finally, ano tayo sa obligation with a penal clause or penal. Penal clause there means merong penal. Ganyan, A to B. Debtor, creditor. 1 million on December 25, 2023 plus 10% for every month of delay. Is 10% for every month of delay is the penalty. OI plus. Okay. Balik tayo. So una, ano ba ang purposes ng penalty na to? As to ensure performance. Kasi class, matatakot kang hindi gawin. Ensure performance or payment. Dahil pag hindi mo ginawa, madadagdagan ang utang mo. See? And B, as substitute to damages. That's why ang rule, if obligation has penalty, no more, excuse me muna class. Hello, Your Honor. I have a class right now. I'm inside the classroom. I will talk to you after 2 o'clock. Your Honor. If obligation has penalty, no more damages. See? Because damages na siya. Ang tawag sa kanya ay, if you remember, liquidated damages. No more damages. Yan ang rule. Exception to the rule. May penalty na, may damages pa if number 1, si debtor is guilty of fraud. Letter B, or debtor refuses to pay the penalty. Or letter C, when it is stipulated na despite may penalty, correct, meron pang damages. Yan ang rule. Because of the penal clause providing for penalty. Rule number 2. Meron bang limit? Meron bang limitations? Ang penalty na yan. Of course naman. If illegal or immoral, the penalty is invalid. But the principal obligation, yung 1 million, remains. Halimbawa, hindi 10% for every month of delay. Nakalagay for every month of delay, deliver 1 gram or 10 grams of shabu. In that case, the penalty is invalid. But the 1 million remains. Pero if the principal obligation is illegal, penalty is automatically invalid. Kasi ang penalty clause is only an accessory obligation. Sumusunod lang siya sa principal. Kung ang principal obligation is valid, siya, invalid, siya lang ang mawawala. Pero kung ang principal obligation ang invalid, halimbawa, hindi 1 million, kundi deliver siya mo. And the penalty is money. Na valid naman, ay invalid pa rin siya. Because sumusunod lang siya. Penalty is only an accessory obligation, so its life depends on the principal. But the principal can stand alone, unlike the penalty. Now, if excessive naman, sobra siya or unjust, courts, pag nagdemanda, unless mag-usap sila, courts can reduce it without voiding the principal. Without voiding the principal obligation. Nakalagay, 1 million plus 10% for every day of delay. Sobra naman yun. Lalo na kung every hour of delay. Sobra naman yun. Babawasan ng court yun. Sabi ng court, ang tama nandyan, 10% for every month. Pwede na yun. Hindi tama yung for every minute of delay. Naintindihan niyo ba yun? Hindi ka na naawa sa kapwa mo. Ikaw creditor, ikaw debtor naman. Napakatanga mo para pumayag dyan. Siguro hindi mo naintindihan. Kasi kung naintindihan mo, hindi ako makakapaniwala na ikaw ay nag-iisip. Ano naman, kaya merong court para i-enforce kung ano ang tama. Kung ano ang what is just in our society. So, ang just yan is, ito na lang, gawin na lang natin 10% for every month for penalty. You see, if excessive or unjust, the courts can reduce it without voiding the principal obligation. If the penalty is illegal or immoral, the penalty is invalid. The principal obligation or 1 million remains. But if the principal obligation is illegal or invalid, penalty is automatically invalid also. Yan, automatically. Penalty automatically follows. Yeah. See? That means it is invalid also. So that finishes the primary kinds of obligation. Okay? Tapos natin ang primary kinds of obligation. Almost 1.5 hours of continuous discussion. And 10 minutes meditation break. 10 minutes meditation break. Hindi mo na coffee break. Break for the brain. Meditate. 10 minutes lang. 10 minutes meditation break. Para sa inyo. Sa akin, pwede ako magtuloy-tuloy. Kayo kasi nag-a-analyze kayo na. 10 minutes meditation break. Ano ibig sabihin ng meditation? Pwede ka makinig sa music. Hindi ko na pwede patugtog dito, class. Hindi ako pwede magpatugtog dito kasi may restrictions eh. Naka-online tayo eh. Minsan kasi nagpatugtog ako dito, class eh. Nagpadala ng message yung Google. Bawal pala. Pwedeng sandali lang, pero hindi matagal. Hindi, kumanta. Yun ang ating intermission. Ako ang kakanta. I did my best. Hindi naman yan ang favorite ko. Favorite. It's amazing how you can speak right through my heart. Without saying, I got the fun. Miles of many I can never explain. What I hear when you don't say a thing. Smile on your face lets me know that you need me. There's a truth in your eyes saying you will never leave me. Tama na. Meditation break muna tayo, class. You listen to music. Listening to music is a form of relaxation to the brain. Station to the brain.